Before launching any military retaliation in the aftermath of the Kashmir attack, the Modi government has taken some significant steps to cripple Islamabad's economy so that Pakistan is unable to ever challenge India geopolitically or militarily in the future. Apart from a ban on Pakistani airlines and social media handles, the biggest blow will come from the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty. And Pakistan knows this. Pakistan is now preparing to challenge India's decision in the international court. But experts suggest it will be of no use at all. There are massive protests in Sindh region of Pakistan already. Protesters are vandalizing vehicles, blocking roads, and waving the flag of an independent Sindhu Desh. People from the Sindh region are up in arms after Islamabad announced a decision to construct 5 new canals and further divert Indus water towards the Punjab region. Pakistan is facing an acute water crisis and is losing control of not just Balochistan, but now has to contend with an uprising in Sindh as well. Now, India had never previously suspended the Indus Water Treaty. It stood through 3 wars. In 1965, when India captured 2,000 kilometers of Pakistani territory with Indian troops pictured inside Lahore. Not in 1971, when 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered to the Indian Army and Pakistan was split into Bangladesh. Not even after 1999 Kargil War, when Pakistan was forced to retreat after attempting to seize Indian border posts in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. But the Pahalgam attack has changed all that, as Hindu tourists were singled out and executed by extremists in front of their families. The Indian government finally said enough is enough. There can be no normalcy with a terror state like Pakistan. New Delhi says Pakistan must credibly and irreversibly give up support for cross-border terrorism if it wants the agreement to continue.
The Indus Water Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance.
Completely caught off guard, Pakistan called India's move a serious threat.
इस दरिया से हमारा पानी बहेगा या उनका खून बहेगा.
Officials in Islamabad said that any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water that belongs to Pakistan would be seen as an act of war. Pakistan is already facing water scarcity, and the suspension of this Indus Water Treaty has added to its growing fears of a national revolt. To push back against India's move, Pakistan is preparing to take legal and diplomatic action. According to Minister of State for Law and Justice, Akhil Malik, the country is exploring 4 possible options. First, approaching the World Bank, which brokered the original treaty in 1960. Secondly, filing a case in the Permanent Court of Arbitration. Third, taking India to the International Court of Justice in The Hague. And fourth, raising the issue at the United Nations Security Council. Malik says that Pakistan is almost done finalizing its legal strategies and may pursue more than one option at once. The Indus Waters Treaty allows both countries to use waters from the Indus River system. Under this treaty, India controls the eastern rivers, Satluj, Beas and Ravi, while Pakistan controls the western rivers, which is Indus, Chenab and Jhelum. India, being the upper riparian country, technically holds more control. However, the treaty is highly lopsided, allowing Pakistan 70% of the water share, with India getting about 30%. And while New Delhi has honored this treaty, it now claims the original conditions of the treaty has been violated by Pakistan through its backing and admission of supporting terror groups in Kashmir. But let's take a look at the various legal options Pakistan may implement in further detail. First, International Court of Justice. Now, the ICJ can only hear cases when both the countries agree to its jurisdiction. India, in a declaration submitted in 2019, clearly stated that it does not accept ICJ jurisdiction over disputes involving other Commonwealth nations, which includes Pakistan. Moreover, India also ruled out ICJ jurisdiction in cases related to war, self-defense or national security. That includes actions like suspension of the Indus Water Treaty following a terror attack. So if Pakistan tries to take India to the ICJ, the case is unlikely to move forward. Second, Permanent Court of Arbitration. Like the ICJ, the PCA requires consent from both the countries. Without India's agreement, the court cannot hear this case, making this another dead end for Pakistan. Third, the World Bank. While the World Bank helped broker the initial treaty in 1960, it has no power to enforce or interpret it. The bank can only act as a neutral advisor or facilitator, helping to appoint mediators if both sides agree to it. It cannot make binding decisions or force any country to act in any particular manner. Fourth, United Nations Security Council. Pakistan may take the issue to the UNSC as well, but it is unlikely to get much traction unless there is a clear threat to international peace and security. Given the nature of the treaty and India's strong legal position, experts suggest this move will likely have little to no impact on India. India's suspension of the Indus Water Treaty has a solid legal foundation under international law, even if the treaty lacks an exit clause. P.K. Saxena, former Indian commissioner for the Indus Water Treaty, explained that Article 62 of the Vienna Convention allows withdrawal if foundational conditions no longer exist for any treaty. Saxena said, quote, "This treaty was born in goodwill, but that goodwill has vanished," unquote, adding that India had shown restraint for decades despite repeated provocations by Islamabad. With this treaty now suspended, diplomatic ties are frozen, flood data sharing halted, and engineering changes underway. Steps, India says, are long overdue. Moreover, India's resolve to renegotiate this treaty precedes the Pahalgam attack by years. Since the last many years, India has repeatedly urged Pakistan to renegotiate this treaty, but Islamabad failed to address the issue as recently as 2023. India says this is because various other original conditions have changed and the treaty needs to be renegotiated. This includes population demand, electricity demand, and transition to clean energy. However, knowing that it was on the back foot, Islamabad did not even attend these meetings to resolve the Indus Water Treaty. Finally, India now says enough is enough. Pakistan may be looking for relief through international legal forums, but it appears that none of these paths are likely to succeed. With no strong legal standing, Islamabad's threats seem more symbolic than effective. But have your say. Can terror and water flow together? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button, and subscribe to Inconnect News.